In this section, I want to continue the configuration of RIP on my routers. As you remember, I added a network to my network configuration on RIP, and using this network, I determined which interfaces of these routers are going to be on the RIP process. But now, I need to go and make changes to the default setting of interfaces. For this, I need to go to Interfaces tab here, click on plus sign, and if I want to make the changes to all interfaces, I can select all. But if I want to make changes to a specific interface, I will go and select that interface. For example, I want to go to Ethernet 1 and assign authentication for this interface. Using authentication, I make sure that whatever I receive as an update is authenticated. It is sent from a reliable source. I know this source because this source knows the password that I am assigning here. So I select, for example, simple or MD5 authentication. I assign a key, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is my key, and click on OK. Now I have enabled authentication on this specific interface. So if I go to routes, you can see that these routes are not going to be refreshed for some time, and they are going to time out. This means that any incoming update is voided because the sending router does not know anything about my key for authentication. So I need to correct it. I need to go to router 2. This is the other end of my link. Go to routing RIP, and here you can see that I have configured networks, but I need to go to interfaces and select interface Ethernet 1, that is the neighboring interface, and select MD5 authentication with the same authentication key, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now if I click on OK, and if I come back to router 4, now I can see that my routes are going to be refreshed. This is the timeout value that is timing out. At last, a maximum 30 seconds will take to refresh this route, and I want to wait for that. And whenever the timeout is refreshed, I know that these two interfaces know about each other using the authentication. Now it is refreshed, you can see that. So I know that router 4 now accepts any updates sent from router 2 and vice versa. So whenever I need some specific configuration, some particular configuration on the interface, I can go and select the interface and add that piece of configuration to this interface. So I double click on Ethernet 1 again. Here you can see that I can make this interface passive. Making this interface passive means I am not sending any update. Still I can receive updates from you, but I am not sending any updates. So let me click on this passive link here and click on apply. Now if I go to router 2, I am receiving some routes from router 4, for example 4444, but you can see that this is not going to be updated. This is going to be timing out, and it is not going to be refreshed. That means the other side of my link is not willing to send any update to me. That means the passive. So if I go back to router 4 again and remove this check from passive and click on this OK and go back to router 2, after some moment I can see that this is going to be refreshed. I need to wait for a maximum of 30 seconds and see this refresh happens. So let me count the numbers down to 30, from 30 to 0, and see when it is going. Now it is refreshed. That's it. I didn't need to count down anything. So this is the meaning of passive here. Let me check the interface and see what else I can do on this here. I want to go and change the send and receive version. But I want to show you what is the meaning of send and receive here.